folks. I'm here. 3 minutes, 2 minutes early, whatever. 2 minutes early, something like that. 1 minute early. Anyway, hey, I'm listening to Dave, so I'm not going to be talking until Dave ends. So this is up for you if you wanted to come in early. I've got a couple things I need to take care of, but go listen to Dave and then come back and see me. Bum, 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 bum. Hey Susie, hey Sovereign, hey Shell, hey Drew. Let's see, who else? Oma Heart's Eyes. I finally got around to getting my own YouTube account so I don't have to use Rick's. Oh, I know you, sweetie. How you doing? I'm glad to see you here. Okay. So let me go scroll back down. A 3-hour, 59-minute nap. Oh, Drew, you smart ass. What I missed? Nothing. I'm just getting on. Yo, Nikki Sovereign. I can't see it. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that. Hey, folks, come on in. Have yourself a seat, which is what I'm going to do now. Finally here. Preferably without screaming. Would be nice. Okay. Ouch, 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 ouch. Ooh. Oh, okay. Come on. Okay. Headphones. Okay. Oh, God. Here sucks. Okay. Ooh, he's right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So, headphones, I'm listening to Dave and Tim right now on SOR. So, whenever they end, that's really when I'll get. Hey, Amy. It's good seeing you, dear. Okay, let me see. I'll finish reading this. What's your name? Okay, Shell, dear, I will respond to your email tomorrow. My probably late night tomorrow. Um, okay, so let me go in and check. Um, comments. Okay, so okay. Um, okay, Sovereign, I'm getting to yours. Response here. Um, wait a minute. And then okay. Okay. Um, and now I need to go back. Hang on a second, guys. I'll get there in a second. Catch up. I gotta take them off headphones so I can. Okay, Shell. That's what I got from your email. Okay. And Sovereign, I'm responding to your stuff right now. So this is kind of business because I don't want to interfere with the Dave stuff. Okay. What was I looking for? Oh damn, I gotta look at it again. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Okay. Okay, Sovereign. Check out the messages you left me. You will have responses. Where the hell is Eric? There, Eric. There you are. Okay, and um, okay. So when I want to reply to that, and this is okay. There we go. So that takes care of that. And that took care of that. So okay, so there's that. Let's go back. Okay, so go back to mine. Um, At work, thanks. We'll check out your replies. I appreciate your thoughts. Throwness. Yeah, you're welcome. Sovereign. Totally understand the work thing. No worries. Okay. Okay, now I want to be sure that I get to see if there were responses on mine. Shell, you said responses. I'm not seeing any responses on that you wanted me to look for. I'm gonna put comments on last night's show with some clarification. Yeah, it's not up there, sweetie. Um, so let me know either privately, via email or in chat where you posted that, um, and we'll talk about it. Um, or did you delete it? So welcome to whoever just came in. We're just I'm listening to Dave's, and I really want to, and I agree with what he's talking about. Totally do what he's talking about regarding the peace and calmness stuff. Totally agree with it. Yep. I gotta be quiet. Okay. Okay. So I can actually get rid of this off my screen because I'm not seeing what I needed to respond to. Go to the lives. Should go in. Oh, but we need to check um, Eric's channel because we did a really good show tonight. Um, talking about um, yeah, it's called Dude, Where's My Person? Okay, so I'm gonna hit replay and then I'm gonna put it in the chat so that you guys can listen to it at some point. Did I? Yeah, copy to. Okay, yes, there we go. So it was about missing people. Um, okay, Shell, thank you for responding. It's not showing up on mine. Is there a way you can copy it and paste it and send it to me in an email? Yeah, Saturn, I'm not talking about that one. When I'll watch, but I probably will try to keep my mouth shut. Don't know why it's not showing up. That makes no sense. Okay, so let's see. So this is going to be boring for right now, guys, because this is me just taking care of business. This is for anybody who wants to chat away if you want. But I highly recommend you go over, watch Dave's show, Spaced Out Radio. Go watch. Um, and then after he's done, come and talk to me. Okay. Yeah, I got uploaded really fast. That's awesome. Okay, so let's see. Going back here, go back to my channel. So, how are you guys doing tonight? Thank you. I appreciate that. The neck yanking thing. Okay. Okay. Now, I want to hear what Dave and Tim are talking about. Sorry, pen. I have a tendency to do this thing. I love it. Okay. Your image is up there, show. That's awesome. Okay. I want them on. Damn it. Great question, Tim. Okay. Okay, you're going up. There we go. All right. Why are you not? Come on. Put, 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 put. There we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Big TV, much easier to deal with. Okay. Oh, very good point, Shell. Oh yeah, Dave has Big Woo on his show. Big Woo. So, like I say, go listen to his show. I can't comment. I'm not going to comment. I keep wanting to comment, and I don't dare. I want to get nailed for it. Okay, so let's see. Don't know why it's not popping up. It should just automatically. I wonder if it's from on this one. Okay, let's see. It's not on that one. Oh, I bet it went into. Ba-doo-da. Ba-doo. Okay, 5. Let's see. Sort by. first. Maybe it's coming. It's not. Ah, there you are. Okay, found it, show. Excuse me. Oh my God, it's a long one. Oh God. Okay, I got it. Okay. Now, show, if you're still listening, I got it. I'm gonna. Okay, there's that. I gotta get to it. Okay, there we are. Oh, I remember partying in Vancouver, BC. At the time, Vancouver, BC had some really good party places. No idea about current. Okay, let's see. Okay, I need to check my stream. Hey, darling, how are you doing? I love ya. Okay. Um. Okay. The Sasquatch are a sovereign. The Sasquatch are inferior. You know not a thing. When are you going to hollow? You know this look. When are you going to let me start teaching you things? Since I don't have you in front of me and we're not bullshitting around, what fool? What for? Dude, seriously. I love you. I want to teach you things. Things that I have not taught you. Yes. Don't be a smart ass. I know that mode. I love you. So if you don't know, that's my son. And most know. So anyway. Yeah, there are things that I can be teaching you. Oh my God, suffer. God. You and my son could get, you would get along probably really well. Um, anyway. Um, what for? There's so many things that I could teach you. And there are things of protection too. And I know you're still listening because you're still on the little number thing. So, what would you be interested in learning first? Think about that one, then message me privately, text me privately. I mean, hello, you used to astral to me middle of the night, even last year. Hell, you did it this year. Sound asleep. Come on, Mom. I want to show you something. It's like, okay. So, Love you. Anyway, the reason why we're not doing a lot of talking in chat is solely because that I telling everybody to watch Spaced Out Radio. So those that don't know, that's why we're not doing a lot of chatting right now or me talking, because there's a really fantastic conversation right now going on in Spaced Out Radio, and I want people to listen to it. It's actually really rather important. So go watch Dave and Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio and listen to he and Tim Seanor talk about the woo and how they're feeling things. Really important conversation right now, guys. So go listen to them and come back, or have two screens going if you're on a laptop. So that's why I'm not doing a whole lot. There you are. Ah, you got it short. Ah, you did a good job. Yeah, but that's okay. It grows. Hair grows. No worries. Wow. Do you know how long it's been since I've seen your hair that short? Dude. But I like it. And you trimmed the. Awesome. Cool. Well, last time I saw you, so. Anyhow. Love you. Cool. Thank you. Okay. I'm on my phone. Can't multitask right now. Okay. I'm not tuned in to Dave right now. What are they talking about? How dare you out me? Oh, people already knew. Are you freaking kidding me? Anyway. Hey! I just got called out. Hey, sweetie. I just got called out. Anyway. So, I'm waving at the TV. Oh my god. Okay, that's embarrassing. That's like the cheeks are gonna go red. Anyway, so how dare you out me? Laugh my effing ass off. Okay, so anyway, um, but I didn't say what it was like. Anyway, oh, you left. Right now about the term UAP, but prior to that, Dave's Woo. Yeah. Okay, so it's more than just Dave's Woo. They're talking about how to do. Oh dear. Um, about how to use your energy, and that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Okay, you came back. Then what they're talking about is really important information. So, Sovereign, if you've got questions, ask. I'll talk. But I'm for the most part will stay quiet. But go and listen, because it is really good. Tim is learning. Tim is learning from Dave about energy, Sovereign. That's what's going on. And the way Dave is explaining it is really good. And I know there are a couple of people in here that are not up on Dave's show. I get that. I totally get that. And that's fine. Everybody has their own choices. I get that. But if you have questions, ask me. I will be glad to answer them. but I'm multitasking so that I can hear. This ear's not so much on, but so I can listen to what Dave and Tim are talking about. Um, okay, so did that. That's an excellent question. Mm-hmm. You are the only one. I'm not the only one, but thank you. Okay, so I want to do that, and then I want to do this. Okay. No, sorry, I'm responding to Sovereign. I'm not responding to anything that is going on SR. I oh my god. Okay, Sovereign. I gotta comprehend what you just wrote. That's okay, Sovereign. In response to what I know about that, um, the individual that I know now, I'm not okay. I'm not a medical person. I mean, in the sense of I'm not a professional in the medical field. Okay. Um, I know what I know from psychic information, mediumship information, and from people in the know, directly from them themselves. There's an individual that was in my life that had very high clearance who is now deceased. And one of the things that this individual told me, my loved one, was that yes, that is done by a 3-letter agency, starts with an C, ends with an A. Um, geez, lady. Yeah. Um, Dad, he's referring to me. Hollow is referring to me. Um, but yeah, that's that's what it refers to. Um, but yeah, there are medical situations, um, entities that can do it, ETs, regarding other beings. The hierarchies won't allow it. I mean, if an entity gets caught doing something like that, they have dire consequences. Dire consequences. So, Sovereign, in response and in answer to your um, Okay, I gotta do this for a second. In response and in answer to what you said, um, yeah, it can be, it can go to the woo side, but it can also be human beings. But it can also be their medical. Yeah, ask and ye shall receive. No kidding. So the thing about that is that if it is on the woo side, you're dealing with hierarchies that will, I mean, they will come down on the ends of the day. If it's an ET doing it, different ballgame. If their ET higher ups find out about it, living ET higher ups find out about it, they will have dire consequences. They're not going to be able to bring that life back. So, in answer to your question, it can be a wide parameter. Um, and that can be really hard to handle. Um, and I'm not going to delve into looking into that death, um, because, quite honestly, I don't want to know. Because if I find out about it and it was on the other side done deliberately, I, yeah, I can get upset, and yeah, I can have conversations with the hierarchies, and find out what was done. Um, but it's not going to be able to bring the individual back. And if it's ET doing it, um, I can once again talk to, oh, sweetie. Um, no, I'm sorry. I just got your text message. I'm sorry. Um, I can talk to the ETs, and my ET spirit, one of my ET spirit guides, can let them know, if their repercussions have not been taken care of yet. So that can happen. Um, so yeah, it can get really interesting. Um, so that there's your answer in a very, very um, long-winded way, but there's your answer. Okay. Yeah, it makes it difficult. I mean, seriously, it makes it difficult. So I'm listening at the moment. Um, okay. Okay, so the Congressional Hearing, as in at everyone, got it. So Hollow is asking, what did all of you think about the Congressional Hearing? Me personally, uh, in some fashion or regard, I wanted to jump, hoop, and holler. In other aspects, I was extremely frustrated. But it was not a nothing burger. That's a big deal. Um, so, that said, the information that is on record, finally, non humans, that's a huge thing to get into a congressional hearing on record. Huge. Um, yeah, you're not alone. I can't go there publicly, but yeah, I'm not a happy camper about it either. There's a couple things that they've been doing that I'm not thrilled with. But anyway, that said, and I don't want to cause any issues. Because we had a subject last week where I actually had my internet shut off. So, um, Shell says, underwhelmed and suspicious, and mostly disgusted because I strongly feel the endless headlines in the last month or so are there to overshadow the sound of freedom. Yes and no. They're trying to silence it, but at the same time, it's on many levels, it's not good. However, the fact that the congressional hearing even had it and had those three on there, they're not going to do for a very, very, very long time. They're not going to discuss abductees. That's, I mean, we're looking at probably 15 to maybe 30 years out for that one alone. Um, that's just my personal take on it. That's not a psychic thing, although psychically there's a bunch of different things on it that I pick up. But flops. All right, the mother in me, I will flip you over my knee. Don't disrespect my peeps. Not fucking joking. Kid, you freaking not. Okay. Um, but yeah, there are times I know. Um, so I mean, yeah, this is a good conversation that's going on Spaced Out Radio. It needs to be talked about, folks. Regarding the hearings, though, um, go to my Facebook page. Shush. Regarding my Facebook page, go to my Facebook page, nikki.jacobs dot 376. Scroll down the pub. Obviously, it's going to be public. Scroll down the public side of it, and if it's private, you're screwed. But you're gonna have to look for it. Or, or if you're in my not y'all's. Okay, thank you. I appreciate the clarification, Hollow. Appreciate that. Um, if you're on already a friend on my Facebook page, and I don't have a lot of, I made. There's a reason why I don't do that. Um, and you can't scroll down far enough. Go into my psychic page on Facebook. It's easy to scroll down. It's not very far down, and you'll find it. You'll find the congressional hearing, and then underneath that, you will find four um, comments that actually give word for word notes. There are sections of it where I drop it down, but you will get what is stated. It's a big deal. Read it. Read what they talk about because you will get direct quotes. I spent hours getting all of those. It is worth your short amount of time. So big deal. Go through it. Um, but yeah, it's Nikki Jacobs, psychic medium, is the very public page that I post stuff on. My private page that I post public stuff on, but private stuff on is Nikki.Jacobs.376. So anyway, um, okay, so I will be right back. I'm here, but I'm gonna check out. I want to see what others are talking about here. Yeah, they're talking about the UAP versus UFO definition. This is an important conversation, folks. Really important. Um, this is. I mean, granted, I don't agree with everything on SR, and who would? Not everybody does. That's fine. Dave knows that. I mean, he said so publicly many a time. But this stuff, what he's talking about, if you don't have somebody, I should say this, if you have somebody in your life that is just finding out, send them to this specific episode from. I didn't. I was on a show tonight, so I didn't get to find out if this section of it, Tim and Dave started talking about this at 11 or at 11:30 or at 11:45. So, but send them this and tell them from this point to this point, watch this amount of time and listen to it because this is what I would recommend to people, quite honestly. Um, then I know others are going to disagree with me on that. That's fine. But if you've got a newbie and they're being disrespectful, but yet are interested because they're fascinated, love you too. It's all right, sweetheart. Please protect yourself beyond mental. Yes, I love you all. Sorry, Mom. I know, sweetheart. I know. I love you. Um, so, are you going to sleep? Almost be going to sleep. Get a shower in if you've just cut your hair, though. You don't need that in your bed. I did that last night, which is why my bangs were down to here, and I went, I'm done. Um, soon. Yeah, I figured. Um, I couldn't handle having driving me batshit crazy. But anyway, um, what's I gonna say? Anyway, yeah, I've had newbies. Good. I've had newbies that have been disrespectful, but yet they're fascinated enough about the subject. I send them to SOR for specifics. I'll send them a different link. There's a couple of others I will send them, but the first one I typically send is SOR simply because of the fact, and with a specific link where they're talking about logical, thought provoking combination of science, critical thinking, and the woo. You got to have that if you're dealing with a newbie because you're looking at all aspects of it. They can then get the new information at the same time as see the other side of it, whether they agree with it or not. They can at least get a broad spectrum, and that's what you want because if you hit somebody with this kind of stuff, It's a big deal. Especially if you get somebody who is hypercritical and hypersensitive to it, and all they want to do is give you shit for it. But yet they're fascinated and interested in it enough to start asking questions. They're not bullshitting around with the nastiness aspect of it. Yeah, see, I go a little bit more beyond that, though. Hollow just said, just know what the law is, then move on. Yeah, I know a little bit more of that. So, um, but anyway, that's fine. That's totally fine. So, um, anyway, figure out how you want to deal with those folks around you that are overly critical, or you typically leave the overly critical ones alone. But if they're actually asking you, I know that. I know. Um, yes, Sovereign says a multidisciplinary approach is grounded. Yes. Yeah. And Hollow says just towards all. Yeah. Good night, sweetheart. I hope you have a really good sleep. You need it. I understand this one. Um, love you too. Anyway, so I don't even know how do you do that. Oh, now I know how you do that. Okay. Anyway, um, so yeah, I mean, send them over to where. Yeah, you're back. Fart heart hollow. Oh God. Oh my God, Hollow. Suffer. Um, because I can't. Yeah, yeah, you can. Oh my God. Between you and another one from somebody that had 6 kids that we know as a family. Oh my God. Get you boys together. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Um. Anyway, I'm giving you. I'm giving you crap. That's not like how it is as an adult, though. That was childhood stuff. Anyway, that was funny, and it was humorous. But anyway, yeah, you get somebody who is having they're starting to get interested in it. They're not blowing it off, but yet they kind of are. Find a really good episode of Spaced Out Radio, and I mean one that, like I said, gives it all. It's like what Sovereign had said, a multidisciplinary approach where you get all of it because you see all sides of it. That's a big deal because then they're going to be interested. It's going to pique their curiosity. This is one of those episodes where I would pass on to somebody who starts asking. So, anyway, we're after 1 a.m. I'm impressed that they're still going, which makes me wonder if Dave's got work in the morning. So, but seriously, um, that's a really good conversation tonight. I hope I hope Dave hears this. I actually hope they cut this section and put that up because wow, um, I truly, I truly believe that they need to do that. This is a big deal, guys. This is a good good edit, good chunk of video and information for those that want to learn. And they talked about earlier, they talked about stuff I would do, stuff I would tell people. I mean, so Mm-hmm. Bingo. I have a lot to say on that one because I've experienced that with kids, but I'm not, because that will be disrespectful. So I'm not going to say anything on that. But yeah, I get it. Right on. Right on. I've had hypercritical people. I've seen stuff that were not good. So if you've got somebody that's hypercritical and they're making laughing, joking comments at your cost, walk away. It's not worth having a conversation with them. But if they're doing that and then turning around and asking you questions in a logical, not in a derogatory way, then giving them, they asked, you're giving them an option. But are they also, do they have, here's the question, do they also have a pattern? Is that pattern done in a derogatory way against you or against other people? If it is, that's still a situation where you walk away because that pattern is there. If you give them something, they turn around and they'll shred every aspect. You want that. It wasn't an opportunity for the positive. It's an opportunity that they can use everything against you and shred. They'll shred the situation, they'll shred the podcast, they'll shred the people on it, and then they'll shred you. Not worth your time, energy, and effort. So you find where it is worth your energy and effort. It's a big deal on that. It's a big deal on that. So, okay, so I am going to read um, very lengthy. No, it wasn't the email I was looking at. It was. Yeah, it was this. Okay, so. Um, okay. I've got to put this on. There we go. With that. Thank you for the 3 that are still in here. I appreciate you sticking here. I'm not, like I said, I'm not having a real regular conversation until his show's done. I mean, this is a really important conversation they're having, guys. I really believe in the conversation that they're having. So, and I want this chat open for you guys. So, whenever they end, that is when my 2 hours will officially start for me. So, that's how I'm going to put it in. So, and on my TV, it's ending, but on my broadcast right now, oh, I'm behind. Okay. 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 So, yeah, I'm glad you put that in that, Derek. Put that in that, Derek, because I did it on my other one, but I didn't do it on this one. Okay. Boop ba doo ba doo. Boop boop. All right, so we've done that. And now that it's officially over, well, it's not. It's just still calling up on my other screen, and there we go. So now I need to hit that. Go back. Go back. Okay. And all right, so come on. What would you guys like to discuss? Okay, I need to hang on one moment. I just realized I need to save this. No, miscellaneous, and this is okay, so that will get saved. This can be minimized. I can open this back up. Hey, folks, come on in. Have a seat. I share links 3 times. Oh my God. Do you really? Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that. Okay, Sovereign. Typical skeptic channel just interviewed Robert Stanley. I encourage everyone to check that out. It was solid. Okay, good to know. Sovereign. Noted. Thanks. Okay, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? And this chat is open for you guys. What? Okay, I got to. 1 second. I gotta hit stop. Ooh, hit refresh. Click mute. Hit play. Okay, and I am going to share the link because this is an important one, in my opinion. Here is the replay. Okay, here's the replay for spaced out radio with Dave Scott. Okay, so that's my opinion. I don't know, that was an excellent discussion, in my opinion. I mean, the way that he went about talking with Tim, specifically about CE5 stuff, and hey, Black Dragon, Semper Fi. Ooh, ooh, yeah. That's a very bad. I used to do that to my friend, and I had it back then. I could do it. He got me to the point where I could do it, but now it's just like it's so many years removed. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, Black Dragon. Okay. Oh, yeah. Milk thistle is good. Just be a little on the careful side with it because it can have a bowel effect for being in the bathroom for a bit. So, anyway. I have so many questions for you, Sovereign, but we're not having that discussion publicly, dude. No. Anyway. So, Susie. Okay, so thanks for sticking around, folks. My 2 hours officially starts 4 minutes ago, I think. It was 4 minutes ago. So I'm going for another 2 hours. But in the description box, I will put what we talked about, but I will also specifically say, you go listen to SOR because. And I have been learning about how YouTube is dealing with my account, and that is going to drive me up a wall. There we go. How YouTube is dealing specifically with my account. And so if I don't come on when the link is, then I start having all kinds of problems with not just that specific live, but also specific issues regarding the account. I haven't figured out why yet. Maybe somebody else can tell me why. I'm not willing to go in and start asking. It could be a learning curve. It could be a wide variety of things. But anyway, so that's why I came on. I think it was like 2 minutes early. Ow, something wrong with my back. Sorry. Ouch. So anyhow, questions. Where's Para? Oh, that's lovely. Derek says, YouTube sent me an email saying they were upgrading all across the board and to expect technical issues. Which means I probably missed that. I may have scanned it, but not registered it. That has been known to happen sometimes. So, all right, well, I'll go back in and look at that probably Friday. YouTube Premium. No, I don't have YouTube Premium. That might be why. So we had a conversation. I posted it in here earlier. I know Sovereign was going to go back and look at it. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted to do. What a conversation tonight regarding come on, Nikki. Missing people. And it was quite the range of conversation. And it's okay, so there we go. The S4 bunker is on Spreaker.com, but there's an easy access for the replays. Those are on YouTube. And so that's the link to tonight's, technically last night's, show where we talked about missing people and all different factions of missing people, all different aspects of it. Things got really interesting towards it's a 2-hour show. And things got really interesting about an hour into it. So, but I still recommend the entire show. Give it a listen. Eric started a paranormal group a number of years ago, and they stopped, I think, like 2 years ago, because they'd been doing it for a very long time, like 7 years, something like 7 years. It was a free paranormal, emergency paranormal group, and by 5-6 years in, they were getting up to 10 cases a day all over the country. And so give a listen. They worked with all different kinds of people, military, retired military, I should say, psychologist or psychiatrist, psychics, astral travelers, energy workers, all kinds of stuff. They did not charge. Donations were given, but they didn't ask for them. Hey, Dave! Welcome! I'm glad you're here. I kept saying, you gotta go Spaced Out Radio and then come back here. Because what they're talking about is really freaking important. So I'm really glad to see you. Hi. Anyway, so Eric and his team, and they had a really good team. They got quite a group. And so it was really kind of a big deal. You don't have a lot of groups like that. So basically, go in and give it a listen, because it was another important conversation about missing people and about all different aspects of it, including coming from the psychic medium who's experienced a wide range of different events and how authorities deal with it. And Eric talked about what he's experienced regarding emergency management, regarding all different sides of it. And I'm going to be up at, I'm going to try really hard. I've got to schedule it with somebody else because they're the driver. But I'm going to try, they're doing a emergency, hang on a second, emergency management. I might flip my page over. East Skagit County Disaster Fair on September 9th from 9 noon. So oh my God, Nikki. East Skagit County Disaster Fair, noon to 7 p.m. And it's held at the Concrete Community Center in Concrete, Washington. And so I'm going to try really, really freaking hard to be there. Because they're going to be discussing basically emergency management stuff regarding the mountains. And he said that this is an annual event, and during COVID, they actually got permission to do kind of like a drive-through type of thing. And it was approved from the health department and all of that. So I really want to be up there, and I'm putting it on my schedule, and I'm going to focus my energy towards it, and so that I can go, because this body that I'm dealing with now has issues. And so if I can make it to a camping excursion once this summer, which wasn't camping for me, I was in an RV. I got to spend the night in an RV. I'm going to try my damnedest to be there for this, because I want the information from that community themselves that are dealing with the mountains up there. I want to know what they're specifically talking about. And as somebody who organized my block, I wasn't just block watch. I was part of a community for Seattle had an emergency management thing, and I and another woman, because we were so busy each of us were so busy at the time, we chose to be co-organizers. And so, and I learned oh my God, an enormous amount of information. Matter of fact, I would highly recommend, if you are home or have the ability to do that, be part of your emergency management team. That is a big deal, because you will find out, okay, normally I haven't talked about this in a very, very, very long time. And I typically don't promote a lot of this kind of stuff, but this is a big deal, folks. You need to know where team meetings can be held at your local community center, or wherever the emergency management head group, wherever they deem is part of it. Sometimes it's at an elementary school, sometimes it might be at a high school. It just depends on your location, wherever you are. Find out. This is a big deal. I had no idea that the emergency management in Washington State, and then locally in Seattle, and then even further down locally in neighborhoods, had groups of people and had the know-how to where they had oh, good. I'm glad you're hearing me. Yeah, and it is a good thing, Dave, because it's a mind bender. The amount of information that the emergency management team for your local city, the information that they have, the names that they have, who can do, who are licensed, I was going to say walkie-talkies, that's not what I mean, who have the ability to, and the know-how to deal with CB radios, to deal with when electricity goes down and could go down for days. Who is that person that they can go to that has that set up? Can that be set up at a location? Like for us, back in the day, back in the 90s, it was our local community center, which was 5 short blocks. So it was the short ends of the blocks. It wasn't the long ends of the blocks. So essentially for me, it would have been the equivalent to 2.5 city blocks long away from my house. And that's where they would have set up. I never would have known that as a neighbor this is the kind of thing that people need to get involved in to find out what your city and your town has available to you. Get involved with that and find out if there is um, a co-manager or a director for your neighborhood. Because if something does occur, at least you now know where are emergency supplies at, who is the contact. Do you have a sign that says we are okay on one side and need help in bright red, great big piece of cardboard, well, I call it cardboard, but cardstock, that you can put up in your window. I know in the natural disasters in Louisiana at that time, they were using spray paint and stuff like that because, hello, it was that kind of a disaster. But if a disaster, like we had right after I got involved in this, on my birthday, on February 28th, we had a 6.8 or 6 point whatever earthquake. We had literally, our family, we had dropped off our son at a swimming pool. They were so he was in the water at the time that earthquake hit. Completely different. Then he was fine. Everything worked out, and they were the class, the group of classes. They were all okay. He had a medical appointment, and that was where we dropped him off for, because that was part of his field. It was kind of like a field trip. It wasn't a school field trip, but it was a number of classes got together and were doing a swim day, and that's what they did. So we had just dropped him off, and literally we were not out of the vehicle, I don't even think 30 seconds, and the earthquake hit. And it didn't just shake. I mean, shake, 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 and rattle and roll. It came in waves up our streets. You could actually see, you could feel the shaking and then actually see the street, and our car literally went up and down in the street. So after it happened, because I was part of the emergency management for our block, it's both sides of the block. We had 32 or 34 houses. I can't remember which at the moment. And I'm going door to door and double checking on everybody, double checking whether they had gas and I had tried to get people together to begin with. We had been trying to do community events to get people involved. And one of the ways that we were doing that was going door to door. So there are aspects of that. And I learned who in the city I would be working with, or my organizer would be working with. She wasn't home at the time. She was in downtown Seattle when all of that happened on a 30 some odd story building. And I think like 8 minutes after it had I want to say between 8 and 12 minutes after it happened, a family member answered the phone, and it was her. And yeah, Nikki's going around blocked, doing checking on everybody. I mean, she was checking on us, but also going, okay, this is, what are we going to do? And we had what we needed to do. Other people didn't. I mean, I walked up the other block and was checking on folks because it was a big one. Matter of fact, when it was happening, you could see my neighbors directly across the street from me. They were up on a very, very large hill type of thing, and they've got a 3-story house. And it was going like this. The neighbor next to them, it literally cracked their foundation and caught part of the building off. And then on the rolling, it popped it back. That was the trippiest experience I have ever seen in my life. I mean, regarding in the physical, I've seen some incredible paranormal shit, but in the physical, that was quite the experience. So, am I hyped up on that? Yeah, because I think it's very important. But yeah, the emergent contact your emergency management system and whoever it is in your city, whoever it is in your town, get involved, find out. And if you are, the other thing I learned is that if you're out in the Thule, so to speak, out in the country, and it may be miles away from somebody else, still, if you have the ability, go and check on them. If the roads are safe to travel. That's the other thing. So anyway, that's my little spiel on emergency management and all of that. But it was good to find out about that information. I highly recommend you folks go in and take a look. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Let me scroll back up, go back up through the chat, and now that I'm off my spiel, let's have a conversation. Oh, that sounds good, Shell. Recently discovered the amazingness of pineapple soda vanilla ice cream float. Yeah, that actually sounds really good. Derek, California is very hard to help with missing persons cases. Law enforcement, there is no good from our personal. Yeah, missing person stuff, it's hard to deal with. It really, truly is. There's so many aspects of that. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. That's referring to Derek. Um, awesome. That's good to know too, Derek. Um, our kids just started pre-kindergarten, and there is an app for your phone called Sprout About, and it shows a live feed of the classroom at all times and outside on the playground. Very good. Interesting. Just felt an ancient shell. Okay, Shell. That's great. And the emergency side could have a reflective mirror-ish portion, even if it's metallic duct tape adds one adds. It could help people signal even in a residential setting. Yeah. There's a lot of different aspects that I learned regarding the emergency management stuff. Like I said, call them, have them send you a packet, or have them send you the email filled with forms and information. Because obviously, power was an issue for a bit. Not a long time, but it was for a bit, a very short amount of time. But at the same time, um, you know, uh, gas was something to be concerned about. Most of the homes I found out were not electric, not like the rental I was in. You've got to be very, very specific if you're shutting off gas, because it could take days before, and it's got to be turned on by the gas company themselves. So, I mean, there's a lot to it. There's questions that need to be asked, need to be answered, and they need to be answered by professionals in the know. Professionals in the know. So find out. The other side to that is if power did go out and it went out to a large area and was out for days or weeks or even months, you got to have people who have the license, who know how to do the it's not just CBs, it's radio wave. I can't think of what it's called at the second. You got to have that in the know. It's a big deal. Bug out bag. I'm reading Shell and she said bug in a bag. But it just reminded me, yeah, you got to have, that's the other thing we had at the time, thankfully, and we had spent ham radio. Thank you, Susie B. Very much appreciate that. Yeah, you got to have a handler's license, an operator's license, or something to that effect regarding ham radio. And I was looking at getting one. I mean, I had even gone years before this. I'd even learned, I'd learned sign language, and I had learned SOS and a couple of other Morse code. And I was teaching it to my son. I mean, I was very much into survivalist because and of course at the time I was also receiving psychic downloads about the Mount 10 and then mountains, plural. So yeah, it was kind of a big deal to me. So I wasn't just in survivalist mode. I was in, I mean, I wanted property. I wanted, hey, Amy, a cat that knows Morse code. Yeah, it's important, man. So you gotta, hey, Drew. Yeah, good wild ride. No kidding. There are aspects you got to learn. You got to learn things, and you got to be in the know. And I'm one who is all about the information. I despise fear mongering. I am one who is, let's talk about this. Let's have a conversation. Let the conversation be open. Let's figure this out. We need to find out whatever the subject is. Need to work on these things. So part of mine wasn't so much out of fear as it was, I want to be prepared. And then at that time, you also had 1998 into 1999, which went into 2000, and all of that that went on across the world, mostly in the United States. And oh my God, it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. Ugh, that was a pain in the butt. So, and people thought I was nuts. I'm like, I'm doing this because I want to know how to do stuff. I had already had family. I already grew up with family, great aunts and uncles who were teaching all different aspects. Yeah, Y2K. Thank you, Black Dragon. I couldn't remember what it was called. So, I mean, I had already knew about different aspects of survivalist stuff, growing your own food. Mom taught me that one, and she was raised on it. So, Grandma, when she was alive, she helped with it. Then you had stuff where it was, okay, I'm getting messaged. Hang on a second. Then you had stuff where it's dealing with knowing how to sew your own clothes, coming together with, okay, what is this? Oh, Dave, I'm sorry. I just saw your message. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I'm glad you made it. I don't know why that didn't pop up. Why didn't I? I'm still going to put it in here. Anyway, so Oh, okay. So Troy, I just got your message. That's what made me look. Okay. I don't know why I didn't get the other ones. I guess I got to have my phone right here to where I can actually feel it and register it. Um, anyway, so yeah, get in, look at the emergency management stuff. Learn about survivability. You never know. I mean, I kid you not. What I was going to talk about a couple of minutes ago, actually, was that we had backpacks set up for each person. We had food supply for each animal that we owned, 3 months worth. Let me tell you, that's not easy to deal with. Um, we had water. Hey, hey, love you, love. I hope you're having a good time. Um, there are things I want to ask, but I'm going to keep quiet. Anyway, I'm going to have a hard time keeping quiet, but there's things I want to ask. Anyway, so anyhow, yeah, we had food and water. We had, no, I'm not going to ask publicly unless you want me to ask publicly. Yeah, I just woke up, Nikki, not in fighting mood. No, no fighting. You don't have to be protector of my channel. Thank you. I appreciate that, but you don't have to be. Anyway, so we had food and water for 3 months. Bit of a bigger issue to do that in an apartment. But at the time we were living in a house, and I had garbage can filled with emergency supplies away from the house. Um, and away from, because we had all different kinds of wild animals, most specifically the raccoon population in the city about drove me nuts. Um, yeah, have a conversation with me where you've got a raccoon on top of your dog's head going like this, trying to rip its face off. Yeah, so I know about raccoons. Um, so yeah, and it took a while to build it up. I mean, we were not. Um, okay, Lev, how are you and Tim doing? Um, so anyway, it's kind of a we had to build it up. We were not rich by any example. I mean, it basically, if you want to do it where you're at an extremely limited income, what you do is, instead of buying this, we bought specific supplies. I mean, there are certain supplies that I have to this day that are from, um, those emergency kits. I mean, we had an emergency kit in each backpack. Um, and you have clothes and shoes and, information, because I was raising a kid. I had I had picture, photograph, paper photograph that was laminated. I had information that was laminated. I had extra EpiPen. I had extra emergency scripts or, vitamins, that kind of thing. And if you're doing that for long term, you gotta have the air packets, the to keep things fresh and that kind of thing. So I mean, you have a to go you have a to go bag. And then in Seattle at the time, his school had a Ziploc bag for every, that was after we were homeschooling, after I was homeschooling. We had, I know, I know he leaves tomorrow night. That's why I haven't pestered. Um, anyway, so basically his school had a Ziploc bag filled with everybody's information and extra if they had prescriptions and stuff like that. So his school had extra emergency pen, and they had drills. I mean, that was in the 90s, even into the 2000s. So I know I'm talking all this emergency management stuff, and we're not dealing with even remotely the paranormal stuff. Like I said, I was extremely active with family, with paranormal, with advocating, with being known as the information. I was literally nicknamed, I don't know if Dave is still here, but I don't know if you know this, but I was known as the information lady. Everybody would come to me for one reason or another because I had so much information in my head, and I was just like, at the drop of a hat, I would be asked something. I'm like, oh yeah, it's this. Da, 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 da. It's a bit different with me now. What people don't know, and what I've not made public until this very second, is that after my back injury, which was in 2008, sometime around 2013, 2012 into 2013, I believe I had a stroke. I was on the phone with somebody, and I was going through a really, really rough patch with my back and my health. And 2011, 12, or 13. I somewhere in that time frame. And yeah, it changed things up. And my friend was like, oh my God, but she didn't recognize what was going on, and neither did I. And I've talked to a neurologist about it since, and there's no way to definitively prove. My abilities are still my abilities. Some advanced, some kind of went down. Never could define if that was actually part of the stroke. I never told my family. There was too much shit going on, way too much shit. Never told the family. They didn't find out until 2017, 2016, 2017, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, it can cause a significant impact. But yeah, there's still aspects. Okay, wait a minute. I missed Amy's comment. Yeah. So, enough of me babbling. What you guys, what are we hitting with? Yes. Actually, Derek just said ginger helps with inflammation in the body. I eat a lot of raw ginger every single day. Matter of fact, it helps me better than turmeric, and I highly recommend. Here's a product recommendation. As you know, for those that are not here for the first time, I do product recommendations. This one is the Herb Farm turmeric. Highly recommend this company. They're based out of Washington State, or at least they were. I haven't checked on it recently. So anyway, but turmeric is really good. But for me, it is not strong enough for the kind of inflammation that I have with, especially after the tailbone, breaking my tailbone, and the nerve damage throughout my body. No, not perp. Herb. Excuse me. Hang on. HERB. HARM. Herb Farm. See if I can get this without the damn glare. Maybe not. There we go. There you go. Yeah, you're welcome, sweetie. But I highly, highly, highly recommend them. It's a really good company. You can order stuff online if you can't find it in the stores. Because I'm in Washington State, they're all over the frickin', they're all over the place. So anyway, welcome to whoever stopped in. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. Oh, that's good to know. I'm really, really specific about my vitamins. As a matter of fact, you want quality, good vitamins. Hang on a minute. And people that know their shit. There you go. Tell them Nikki sent you. Not a joke. Oh, that's supposed to be 800. Damn. Hang on a minute. Oh, fuck turds. There's my F-bomb. Okay, I'm going to take that one down in just a minute. There you go. All right. This one's going away. Remove. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so tell them I sent you. Tell them where you heard it from. Anyway, yeah, they know their stuff. Is it cheap? No. Is it quality? Oh my. Yes. I almost said the F word. Yes, it's quality. It's extremely good quality. Matter of fact, I've used a number of products that they've had. They actually, Healthy Way is a company where you'll have to ask them about how they started, but they are a company where start to finish vitamins, they create their own. And I'm like with a doctor, and it's done a very appropriate way. Since the early 1990s. And I have, even though I've got my own health problems, they are the ones that have kept me going. I swear by very specific vitamins that they've got and their knowledge. They have naturopaths that highly recommend them. So, and I don't know if they can send stuff international, but definitely ask them if you're interested. So yeah, I think it's been since, let's see. So 90, somewhere around 92, 93, 94, going to them. So long time. Yeah, I wish I could eat oranges. My body don't like oranges. I love oranges. So, but anyway, okay. Yeah. Shell, you messaged me or emailed me about the nightshades. Nightshades, yeah. Um, Tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and then there's a number of others. You're right about that. There are a number of nightshade plants, number of different things in the nightshade family of plants that can cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. Um, I can still have different things and not have problems, but yet there are some that are a major problem for me. So I stay away from those at all costs. Um, so yeah, you just, get an Alyssa or an Erisa blood test, talk to your doctors about those. Um, I don't do and you're dealing with somebody who's done allergy tests all of my life. I'm not joking, since the age of 3. So I've been the scratch test dummy up until once I turned 18, I literally said, I'm not doing anymore. Um, didn't do any more shots, didn't do anything. And then I started getting into and doing my own research. I ended up with a naturopath. There's a bunch of different things yeah, unfortunately, I can't do that one, Drew. I would love to. I miss it. Um, that one will stick me in the hospital. But yeah, it's a really, really big deal. Um, so, um, I'm trying to find where you were. Black Dragon, Andrew. It does help with arthritis, but not good if you're allergic to it. Yeah, nothing's good if you're allergic to it. Um, so yeah, yeah. And Shell talks about cinnamon is known to help those conditions you mentioned regarding Andrew, and I think you mean okay. Yeah, I've got a loved one who was raised on cinnamon. Literally, they cinnamon. It's a specific kind of cinnamon, and in their culture, they were raised on it. Um, um, so yeah, she swears by it. She swears by that and manuka honey and a couple of other things, but their go-to is to take a couple of tablespoons of cinnamon and for colds and all of that. I'm one to where back in the day I used to make up what they call a fire batch, which is all the hot. Dave would love this. He'd mix it up. It's all this spicy stuff. And hey, I had one of my kids. Um, so my house was the house where all the kids went to. One of the kids considered me a second mom at the time, and so we called him my other son. Um, when he was an adult, one of his at the time girlfriend, um, she used to go through. Oh, I don't have it sitting out. She used to go through the Costco size thing of I had bought in a brand new container of cayenne pepper. She took that much of it. When I make soup, I make a very specific kind of soup, and at the time it was winter time, and she took that much of cayenne pepper and put it on top of her soup. And I was like, "You eating that?" And she goes, "Oh, I do this at all the time." And she wasn't joking. I mean, she Yeah, that's the one, Sovereign. He's talking about the kind of cinnamon with the manuka honey. Anyway, so yeah, it created quite the. And I'm getting nerve pain. Oh no 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 no! It's because I'm sitting the wrong way. And I've been sitting here a while. I'm gonna need to get up in a minute. Anyway, I might have to stand to talk. Wow, that's getting nasty. So basically, yeah, that's what took place. 1 second. I'm going to hit mute for a moment. Okay, so yeah, this is here's another product. It's one I showed the other night or last night or Monday or whatever it was. This is what they look like. Homeopathic. Anyway, that's what I'm using right now because it's what the little popped things. Anyway, it works. It really, really works. So, oh, cool, Drew. Andrew and Gnome's Trucking Express says, yes, the other trucking company I used to work at, we used to take honey in barrels and take it to a place in Defiance, Iowa, where they used it for medicinal purposes. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm not going to say that one publicly because I don't want to get shut down. I agree with you, Sovereign. Read Sovereign Cosmic Wildman. Read his comment about homeopathy. Anyway, so yeah, it's just, and we're off on a natural nature kind of thing. Didn't expect that, but yeah. Oh. So do your research. There are companies that are putting out that are actually owned by pharmaceutical companies that are putting out crap in their vitamins. Do your research. Make sure you know the company from beginning of their process to the end of their process. The one company that I love and will buy from. Now I don't get every product from them, but I get a massive majority of my products from them. And it's their quality. They're really good quality. And if they cannot get in their supply chain, if they can't get their stuff, they don't put a product out. They'll make their customers wait. And I would rather wait for something than have to be forced to choose an alternative, which doesn't make me happy. But they are worth the time, energy, money I spend, and time if I have to wait for it. So find a quality company. A lot of the companies that are in the supermarket stores are not good. Another one I should promote. Oh my God, I can't remember her name. She does elderberry. Lady knows her stuff on elderberry syrups. Fresh, quality made elderberry. Not this crap filled with alternative sweeteners and garbage and stuff. So, and there is a product put out by what is she? She's a doctor, but she's a scientist as well. She's a specific kind of, not an epidemiologist. What the hell? She's a specific kind of doctor, and I don't remember the name of that product, but that also, and she was based out of France, and she worked up with a specific company that I was like, dude, why did you work up with them? And she figured out a way, and it's in a lot of stores now. I mean, you can still get it. It's expensive, but it's also elderberry, and it hits the bloodstream in a very specific manner, and has more potency to it. It's the same elderberries, but it's a stronger potency, but she scientifically figured out how to do it. I was like, wow, that's impressive. Um, I couldn't afford a bottle on a regular basis, but yeah, I highly recommend that one too. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name right now or the doctor's name. And she's in Europe. I mean, well known in Europe. Anyway, I'm babbling on. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you can grow, by the way, you can grow your own stuff at home. Even apartment living. I have container gardens. Last year I had my son, um, got me basil and fresh basil and fresh chives, and so I was growing container garden. I had container gardens, so and I've got a girlfriend in starts with the letter not Missouri, not Montana, Massachusetts. Boston. I always have to think of Boston before I can get it. She's not in Boston, but she's in Massachusetts. She's in an apartment, and she's got a great big window where she has small small pots, container garden going along the shelf. And that's what I use. These windows that I've got, what I want to do with them is put up like I've got a wire shelving rack here. I want to do another one here and do garden on it, with the grow lights and all of that. And I want to do that in the living or the dining room as well, because put the giant 60 some odd year old cactus on the lower shelves, and then all the food stuff on the top of it. But that's another subject for another day. Anyway, you can grow your own stuff, and you can do your own canning, and there's all sorts of stuff that you can do. But yeah, I used to do all that. Excuse me, I used to have my feet in the ground, in the soil. And then if I've had to if I'd have to use a spade, a spading fork, I'd do the spade and flip things over. And that was back in the day when I was terracing yards. Yeah, that was interesting. Um, but my family had done that kind of stuff. So anyway, paranormal. What do you guys want to talk about? Yeah, Shell, for honey, you will be best served if you can find local source, as it will be better suited to what you're exposed to environmentally. Yeah. Um, oh, I missed this, Drew. It was like those chew straws with honey in. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Um, Dandelion is a known dandelion tea made for, that depends on which it's from. If you're using, I wouldn't use the stalks, but if you use the heads of dandelion and the root of dandelion, and it is organic, meaning there's no cat piss, there's no dog shit, there's no chemical sprays of any kind. Dandelion root, there's real good for a lot of things. Dandelion flowers are supposedly edible. I don't like dandelion. I don't like the taste of dandelion, but my great uncle, I grew up where he got into making wine. One of the things he tried to make was dandelion wine, baby. He got really good at it. He got really good at making his wine. From dandelion wine to elderberry wine to, I think he even tried beer. Couldn't stand the beer. Stuck solely with the wine. God, blackberry wine. He made a blackberry wine to die for. Oh my God, it was good. Yeah, there are a lot of different things. But yeah, dandelion. Yeah, it's a bit of a natural diuretic. Do your research. Oh, I don't have my book out. I was gonna say you could. The Way of Herbs by Michael Tiara, who is a naturopath. That's, he's got an upgraded book. Prescription for Nutritional Healing is another book. So okay, going back down. Well, I've never had watermelon wine, although that would be interesting to taste. Yeah, Drew. Hanging garden pots with the rope containers and the pots. One of the things my great uncle tried before it hit in the, and this was in the 80s, and before in the late 90s, my great uncle, he used to take a 5-gallon bucket, drill holes in the bottom of them, put a lid on top, fill it. Before he put the lid on top, let's try this again. He'd drill holes in the bottom, like big holes, 5-gallon buckets about yay big round. So he'd have anywhere from 4 to 5 holes in it. Turn it over, cover the holes, turn it over, fill it with potting soil, put a lid on it, flip it back over, and then fill it with tomato plants. And he grew tomato plants out of it. And he'd hang those all around the outside of his house. Not all the way around, but around many spots. And then he'd have those garden hooks, and he'd hang them from the garden hooks. And they got fresh tomatoes that way. And the tomatoes grew up, going up. And you took the top off after a while, and then and you watered it thoroughly that way. So yeah, it made for a really, really good tomatoes. That's one of the ways they grew tomatoes. He grew a elderberry tree off the side of his yard. And oh my God, I learned about how many little pincher bugs love elderberry trees. Oh my God, you stand under it and they just start falling on you. No, thank you. So, whoever has elderberry farms, I commend you, because after learning about that, I was like, no. I don't like those pincher bugs. They're not fun. Anyway, a shell. For that part, I am referring to what you use for food, etc. Not that it will be better medicinally. That's created for that purpose, though I tend to have both. Black dragon. Fermented foods are very good for you as well. Yeah, fermented foods, things like oh my god, sauerkraut. Oh, I hate sauerkraut. I mean, despise sauerkraut, and the only reason I despise it is because my grandmother used to make it from scratch on the stove. Guess who would have to watch it at 7 years old? Because by the time I was 7, she was blind. So, yeah, I was her eyes. I was literally her eyes. So, Black Dragon. Andrew, I used to work on a watermelon farm. One of my buddies made watermelon wine, which is great. Awesome. Did he also use part of the rind? Because I've heard people use watermelon rind as part of wine making, and I can't imagine that would be tasty. Now I do know there's people make watermelon moonshine. Japanese beetles. No, these were they got the little pinchers at the and the little red things, and they did pinch, 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 pinch. Nasty little buggers. They weren't Japanese beetles, although I'm sure Japanese beetles would thoroughly enjoy. Yeah, in my first, I'm not going to say that publicly. Anyway, so do your research, figure out what works for you. I know different people that used to work in the industry. I used to have a fantastic pharmacist until his building, which was a family-owned building, basically was in the process of being bought out by the city. And they had been there since late 80s, I think. It's been a while. Yeah, you got to watch it with that one, Sovereign, because that one, that'll give you the shits. I found a really good, not sure what he used for his wine. Okay. Oh, dear God. But yeah, that one, it's a really good product. And it's really good for a lot of aspects of the body. But if you take an entire capsule, you'll end up with the shits over that one. Lots of gas and lots of shit. So, like I said, do your research. Yes, it does. It's really good as an alternative if you have a station tube dysfunction like me. Although my station tube dysfunction is no longer because the ETs took care of it. Although, well, I'll still have some problems. Anyway, I will be right back. You guys get to see the ceiling, or actually, would you like to see that instead? Okay, there we go. We're going to do that. I shall return. Okay, gotta do this. I'm going to move this up. I will be right back. I'll put it back. Yeah, let go. Ouch. Oh, my goodness sake. Yeah, I gotta move. And if it hadn't have been for that med, I would not have been able. See, I gotta sit on that. So, okay, so we do that, and you should be able to see the backdrop. All right, be right back. Okay, let me close this. Oh, thank goodness for cooler air. Okay, refreeze this. All right. Force that air back there to the bedroom. Okay. Hey guys. Okay, crystals. Oh yes. Amy, are you talking about the crystals spheres in Atlantis? Or are you talking about different ones? Woo! Excuse me. Okay. We're back. Thank you for waiting. Okay. Do the hairbrush thing. All right. Oh, that's an excellent question. So Amy is asking, what do you know about the real crystals like the Draconians use that are mathematically symmetrical and have fine metal memory matrices in them? Okay. Okay, let me scroll back up here because there's a conversation going on I missed. Yes, chamomile tea is good, Drew. Although I'm not sure what you're responding to about that. Black dragon, yeah, I used to use petunias and marigolds around certain plants that I wanted to save. And marigolds are excellent regarding gardening. If you want to keep certain pests away, they're excellent in that. So, just an FYI. There's a bunch of different things you can plant marigolds around and keep the population of certain pests out of your garden. I was an organic gardener for, I don't know, 90% of the time. Like I said in another live stream, I had 20-foot tall. I was such a gardener that I had 20-foot tall fennel plants. Neighborhood kids would come over and go, "Is it ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, don't pick from here down because the cats like to pee." And these have grown up, so I'd start stripping off those leaves and wash everything down with baking soda, vinegar, and mostly an organic dish soap, and with beer, actually old cans of beer, because beer was created a natural enzyme for the plants and stuff. So all of that was really good, or I'd do Epsom salt or something like that. I mean, there were just a number of different recipes I used to use. Anyway, I'm actually going to drink some Coca-Cola, which I don't, like I said, I don't typically have very often. And I just want to be sure that the stomach's going to stay stable today after too many days worth of stuff, and I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow for my back. So, all right. These crystals are also large. Okay, so Amy, these crystals are also large basketball sized, to the size of a small car, used for power generations for cities and mass computer memories. Yeah, they're still in use, actually, with the ETs. The ETs are still using them. And matter of fact, on Susan Swanbeck's show, Raven's Flock, which is shown on the Rift Nation Network on YouTube, Rift Nation Network. Look for Raven's Flock. The episode that's called Night with Nikki, that was done on Tuesday. This past week, we talk about what she saw on an ET ship and what she was shown not all that long ago. I mean, they're still using spheres. And she talked about wanting to hug it and hold on to it. And it's like, yeah, it's because they're living. It's living energy. So yeah, you just go in and when I was in my lifetime in Atlantis, I mean, that's what I was in charge of. I was head of security, which I know is laughable to some people, and they make jokes about it and all that crap. Fine, I don't give a shit anymore. But here's the thing. That's what we used. It was frequency. They're living, it's living energy in those crystal spheres, and they were gigantic. I mean, like, gigantic. Bigger than cars. Like Amy says, they're as big as cars. For some of the things that she was talking about. And these were pretty incredible. So yeah, I mean, it's quite the feat to have those kind of memories, and to find out that they're still being used. They're being used. Those crystal spheres are being used on ET ships, and it almost makes me cry, because the spheres, and you used your hands with those spheres. You used your own frequency from the palms of your hands, from the core of your body. You used those frequencies on those spheres. You could tell exactly what was happening throughout the city because of those spheres. I had what I would call my first down, first person down, and kind of like in the Star Trek Next Generation, where Picard has his number one. I had a number one, and I know who that person is to this day. They're in my life this day, now, this lifetime. And and I will protect them. I mean, they are family to me. There are lifetimes that I've had where people are in this lifetime with me, and I with them. And I'm like, oh my God, you were so-and-so from this part of my lifetime. I'm having so many flashbacks and so many things that, but those of us that remember, and you have to talk, I mean, there's one thing for me to talk about all of this, But it's another ball game to where there are certain things I will not talk about regarding those spheres, because it tells me whether you are true. If you talk to me and say, hey, I was part of da da da, and you're trying to bullshit with me, or you're deliberately trying to lie to me, and I'll know if you're telling the truth or not when it comes to being in that environment and being around those spheres. This person, they specifically told me things that no other person could know unless you were part of my security team. There's no way in hell you could possibly know that, even if you were on Atlantis, because only the security personnel were allowed in a very secure location. And there are things that I haven't even, I've talked about privately with a few people, but even they don't know many different aspects. I mean, I'll talk openly. This is how I died in Atlantis. This is what happened to me. This is how it happened. This is what I know. This is how I know and what I believe in how Atlantis went down. Now, that said, even if you try to bullshit with me and try to say, oh, it was like this, it was like that, that's fine. That's your experience. But I'll never believe you again if you're lying to me about the if you're deliberately doing that with me about security, because I'll tell you straight out. I'll tell you right to your face, that's bullshit. I know differently. And then I'll ask them to describe something very specific. And and if they aren't even remotely close, or if they're semi close, I'll start asking other questions. So there are certain things, and the ones that were in my life at that time, in that specific lifetime, because I was young, but I was, in our human terminology, I was very old. But in Atlantis times, I was young in comparison to the others who were thousands of years old. ETs, different ET races can live thousands of years in comparison to what human, the human body can hold out. And even the human body, hundreds of years ago, depending upon what part of our earth you lived on, there were people that were a couple hundred years old. I mean, that's not a joke. You can actually look through science. Hard to find it now because a lot of that is starting in the process of being wiped out. A lot of that information is being hidden. So there are certain aspects. Anyway. Okay, Amy is asking, are they proper geometric spheres, or or did they have several thousand facets? Okay, how I'm gonna answer that, Amy? These spheres had a very specific, each sphere was a specific color. Each sphere, and the color is not on this planet. That's the thing. The color of those, okay, how do I say this? The spheres that I worked with, at the time, see, facets were part of cracking. Okay, so a crystal sphere did not have any fractures in it whatsoever. They did not have any cracks. They did not have any fractures. They did not have any facets whatsoever to them. Because if they did, they were never allowed to be used. Not for security purposes. They were allowed to be used in the temples. And believe me, there were temples on Atlantis. There were, and I know I shouldn't say believe me because it calls into question a bunch of shit, and I apologize. But there were a lot of temples on Atlantis, and there were priests and priestesses. I don't know how else to say it. Atlantis was a I was going to say dimensional. Dimensional is not the right word. Is a religion, but yet one religion type of community. I don't know how to explain that. You had royalty on Atlantis. You had yes. Amy says not fractures. I know facets. Yes. I knew about the colors. The Atlantean Genetic Engineering Program used sphere crystals with different colors. Yes, they did. And when Susan Swanbeck on her show talked about I'm not answering that publicly, Amy. I kind of lost my train of thought on that. Atlantean Genetic Engineering Program used sphere crystals with different colors. Yes, and like I said, the spheres were okay. I'm going to say something that's going to be a bit controversial to those who remember Atlantis. I know that a majority of the crystal spheres that we used for security purposes, many of them came from Earth. I also know that there were ones that we used that didn't. Those were a completely different color. I know that the smaller spheres and smaller crystals that did have facets in them were used in certain temples. Not all temples, but in certain temples. I also know that the warning beacons that were around Atlantis that went off during emergency, and there weren't a lot of emergencies that revolved around all the emergency beacons going off. There were a couple of times, but not many. Those had specific kind of facets in them because they created a specific kind of sound. I think that's all I'm going to say on that one. Okay, Shell. Okay, wait a minute. No, got one. Sovereign. There are many fruits and other foods that have been stolen from us by ETs. We haven't yet tasted some of the most exotic off-world flavors. Oh, that's for sure. Shell, Nikki. TS said, or did you mean is said? Something on my screen. Just a minute. Hang on a minute. Let's see if I can get this off. I don't know what the hell that was. There a minute you didn't know. It said that there was a blue area in Chernobyl area that were the only ones not ill afterward. They actually that's okay. Ones not ill afterwards, and they actually had very old people, approximately 145 years old, and were workers at the Dell Immune Factory. Now that doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me one bit. We had humanity at one time. Yes, I do, Black Dragon. I know bits and pieces, but enough to put things together. And I know other people who know a lot more. You talking about Alexandria? Okay, my face just lit up. Sorry. Hang on one second. This bottle's driving me nuts. It had a dent in it, and I like to pop those dents, and there are certain people that have asked not to hear certain things, so that's fine. Okay, so yeah, humanity has been dumbed down enough. The immune system has been dumbed down enough. Well, I'm just calling it dumbed down. It's just an easier terminology. To where a lot of things have happened, and we have gotten younger and younger over time. Yes, there are sovereign. Sovereign says there's backup holographic libraries. Yes, there are. As you can see, there's one of my crystals. That's a amethyst. Sorry, bigger than Alexandria. Oh, you're talking off world? The holographic libraries are off world. Oh, no. There's one underground. I just literally got shown there's one underground. There's a holographic library that's it's in a city that's underground. Drew, dogs will eat grass, Nikki, if digestive issues. So will cats. Shell, is that a Pleiadian DNA library? I don't know about Pleiadian, but I do know that there's a DNA library. I do know that there's wow, okay, I didn't expect that. There is a DNA library. 3 planets. There's 3 planets that have DNA libraries. Do I know what races of ET are in those libraries? No. Oh. Do you mean hang on a second. Somebody on the other side's Do you mean 2,500 or 25,000? Holy they just said 25 million. Is that races or people? People. Okay. But I'm assuming they're all sorts of races? Yes. Okay. The 25 million seems awfully small. Not for, what do you mean what? Not for what they're doing. Oh boy. Nope, somebody they just got into trouble for saying it. Okay, so that was interesting. Bigger than Alexandria. Nikki, do you know about the library and the Great Betrayal? Bigger than Alexandria. I know that there's a library. Okay, that goes back a ways. I know that there was a library on another planet. I don't know the name of the planet. I know that the library, that there was a faction of, I want to call them renegades. Renegades is not the right word. Outside of government, outside of normal population of whatever ET race had it, it got burned to the ground. Lack of better phrasing, blown up, burned to the ground, whatever. I don't know anything other than that. I was literally being shown different aspects. Drew, I have an awesome relationship with Blue Pleiadians. Shell took a very long time to where we are. Hang on a second. I'm gonna something going on. I always forget to do live chat. Okay. Sovereign. There's still a humongous library underneath an insanely large pyramid, Mexico, that hasn't been excavated yet. Yes. That would not surprise me. I don't know anything about it, but that. Oh, yes, I do. Oh. That's the one where. Oh boy. I don't know if it's going to be excavated in my lifetime or not. I'm being shown a long time from now. Long time. And I can't tell by the feel if it's beyond this lifetime of mine. It's a library that every being goes to, but not many can remember. The information is stored in crystals. There is, well, there's the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records are not in crystals. They're in paper. At least the stuff that I've seen. Everything is paperized, or what we consider paper. It's almost like magical paper, but I don't know how else to explain it. Shell pisses me off. They say we can't handle the truth, yet we're kept from the truth, plus subliminal. Oh God, I went up too far. Okay. Plus subliminal, infrasound, direct and psychological weapon campaigns to keep us distracted and warning, hitting others. Drew, Bigfoot hates infrasound and ultrasound. Yes, they're not happy about it. Sovereign, also the holographic library underneath the Romanian Sphynx hasn't been fully publicly revealed. I had a lifetime. She had a couple of lifetimes in Romania. I don't remember anything about that. Shell. So does the government. I've been logging infrasound for at least 8 years-ish. Crazy stark difference since the day CERN fired up last year or the year before. They are running together. I have logs. Drew, the way their screams and ways to get you to leave, grunting makes your chest sink in. Yeah, they have the ability to do that. Regarding the Sasquatch is what he's talking about. Shell. Date, readings, location, decibels, hertz, duration. It's so different before and after that day. Decibels, other spelling mistakes. Oh, well, don't feel like fix. Yeah, don't worry about it, sweetie. I can read between the lines, and sometimes I can even, with my dyslexia, I can even, it fixes it. Drew, the Bigfoot T-Rex call is well known in the Bigfoot community. I would never ever suggest someone to that sound blast if you probably won't make it out of the woods alive. Yeah. Yeah, there's situations like that. Okay, so 122, 222, 322. Oh, we're coming up on 2 hours. Anybody got any other questions that they want to ask? This is my once a week. This is my normal once a week. So Wednesday nights after Spaced Out Radio is when I come on. What I typically will try to do, I'll schedule it for 12:15 a.m. But if Dave is still going on, I'll have the link open for you guys. But I may not be going live directly until he's over with. But the chat will be open for you guys. So you guys can chit chat because I'm an SOR fan. I enjoy his shows. I enjoy SOR and Dave's shows on SOR. So, and I don't want to hinder that. And I'm not trying to draw people away. That's not my thing. My thing is for those who want to chat. I can only do once a week right now. I may eventually, over time, do it to where it's twice a week, and then I may do it longer after that. But for right now, what I will be doing is once a week, you guys have a place where you can come in after that show, because there are people who do want to talk. They want to be up and chatting longer. And what I may do is choose a different day for me that I can do anything else of my lives. So I may choose, I don't know, say Thursday or Friday to do an afternoon live that is going to be a regular show instead of everything on Wednesday, because that's a bit much for me right now. So what I'm that is something I might do. I might, afternoon was getting as hard for me, especially with the sleep schedule I have. So I will get back into doing that on a regular basis. But we'll see how things pan out. Middle of the week is what seems to be what works for me. But I don't know, I might do 3 Thursdays a month and 1 Thursday off. So to do my regular broadcast stuff. So that's just how things might have to be. That way you guys get your talking, you're able to talk and chat and all of that. And I can be with you. And I can still do my Wednesday night show that I'm part of, which is the S4 bunker, and go that route. So anyway, okay, so um, Shell, I would love to explore past lives. Yeah, it's a fascinating conversation. It really is. Um, Remind me again in a couple of minutes because I want to get through the rest of this. Um, Drew, I've had many. He's referring to past lives. Shell, what do y'all know about the Armu Armu Maru Stargate? I don't know anything about it. Um, unless that's the Stargate that is on the moon. Black Dragon, Nikki, I felt the energy when we were discussing the library, especially the off-world one. Yeah, the energy. What I received was a combination of my spirit guides, combined with a different ET spirit guide than that does not normally talk to me. So that information came directly from them. Drew, I'm very old. Ha ha ha. He's saying that to Shell. Shell, I'm told I have many as well, and I would love to explore, as pretty sure would quite. Is pretty sure quite material to negotiating this life. I've always had thirst for knowledge, but as a mother, I have to be the best I can possibly be to set best possible example. Best decisions are informed decisions. Yes, I agree with that. Best decisions are informed decisions. In the Andes. Yeah, not a clue. Um, I know there's one on the moon. I wouldn't call it a Stargate though, but I know there's something on the moon. Been on the moon. Um, by ET ship. Um, there's also something on the other side of the moon. I think it's a ship. I'm not 100% sure, but I've been there. Okay, so that's a whole nother subject. That's a whole different subject. Shell, I'll send you a link of an expedition there. Rich Planet and the Real Deal, it seems. Yeah, do. I'd be interested. Excuse me. So I very much enjoy many aspects of new information, and I'll tell you, like I said, I'll tell you flat out. I've stated this over and over again. If I don't know, I'll freaking tell you I don't know. I have no problem in telling you that I don't know. Um, but if I know, I'll tell you that, and sometimes you'll get an answer from my guides or even from your guide that is talking to me. So you never know. Just because I don't doesn't mean that they don't. So, they could pipe in with some information, or somebody else could pipe in with some information. Um, okay. I'm not going to say the name because I don't know. Sometimes I say a name and then we start having problems. Yes, ma'am, and I appreciate the potential resources. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad it works for you. What else? Oh, past lifetimes. We were going to talk about past lifetimes. Okay, hang on. We hit a tired mode again. That's not good. Which is weird because I've had a good amount. Although I've playing catch up, had a good amount of sleep. So that's still red. Yes. Damn mosquito bite. Anyway, so past lifetimes. I actually met somebody who was on their third. Most people have many, many, many lifetimes, not three. So you got three, you're a newbie. Newbie. Um, and wow, are you working out some shit? Newbies usually work out a lot of stuff. Then I know people who are like me who've had so many that you can't count them all. I have memories going all the way back, and I've talked about this on here. I have memories that go all the way back to hang on a second. Black Dragon. I love information. I collect a lot of it. Drew. Yes, certain things, Nikki. Boundaries. Yeah, no kidding. Shell. I don't do coffee. A tiny 5-hour drink throughout the day. Come tomorrow, just one, and sipping, no crashing that way. Yeah. That's kind of like somebody else I know, but I can't do that kind of stuff. It affects other aspects of my metabolism, screws with my body. I usually go for B6. Speaking of which, my B6 is in my lime water. So I need to switch out my drinks. Well, thank you for that, Shell, because that just got me to change my stuff out. Well, this ought to be interesting. The liquid B6 can be a little on the strong side for me. A little on the acidic side. Anyway, that ought to start perking me right up. Anyway, so lifetimes, yeah, you can have. I remember going all the way back to specific councils, beyond the hierarchies, beyond the, and there's not many of us that are on that wavelength of lifetimes. You have so many lifetimes that it's like mind bending. It's before the planets were planets. That's not a joke. That and I've had people make fun of me over it, and I'm like, that's your view of it. This is what I know that is true for me. For me, not for you. I'm not making fun of you. Why are you making fun of me? Because it makes you uncomfortable? If it makes you uncomfortable, then you should be asking, if you're making fun of people, why are you so uncomfortable? So, yeah. Because it goes beyond their human conception, is basically what it boils down to. And I mean, believe me when oh my God, I got to quit saying that. I got that stuck in my head. That's got to stop. The words, believe me. Nope. That's got to get out of my freaking language. I don't even know where the hell that popped up from. That started like last week, and that is not okay in my book. Not for me anyway. So I got to change that language pronto. Anyway, for me, what I have learned is that you can have so many lifetimes you don't remember them all. I'm at 100 and counting. I used to say 99 to 100. No, I'm at 100, and now I'm counting more because I'm like, oh my God. And for me, lifetimes are flashes. Oh, good grief! Here we go again. Yep. That was like me, Shell. She says that friend I mentioned, Nikki, with the neck thing, he daily has visions or dreams, sees the planets and stars being created. Yeah, same. Um, there were not a lot of us. Um, Black Dragon. I never make fun of anyone, and I had heard some very strange things. Yeah, I try not to because you yourself don't know unless you know. I mean, unless it's like, um, Shell told me of being there when they crucified Jesus. Yeah, I know people that make that statement, make that claim. I'm like, who am I to say if they are or not? I mean, I've seen, for example, I saw Marie Antoinette in one of my lifetimes. I saw her beheaded. Um, I literally, well, I can't say I saw her beheaded. I saw her in, I looked away at the time, and the one thing that triggers me is the sound of a guillotine. Can't stand the sound of a guillotine. Not in movies, not in, I'll mute it. And people, if I have the remote control of the remote control, and I mute it, you do not want me having a reaction to that. There are times where I won't have a reaction to it, but it doesn't happen very often. So yeah, I get it. She says all kinds of mind blowing stuff. Nothing surprises me. Am told I was wife of Hoppy Chief Medicine Man. I thought those wouldn't be the same person. Um, yeah, I've had experiences like that too. Um, I have weird memories of Mayan. I have weird memories of Aztec. Never, I, there are certain memories, certain flashbacks that I will not allow. And part of the Mayan culture, part of the Aztec culture, in the specific timeline I was in, no, because they are so gruesome. It wasn't like part of villages. It was, I was into something very different. Um, and that's the kind of stuff that freaks me out. And I'm like, nope, 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 nope. The other ones that come through are meant to be, um, the memories that I have of, being a sea captain drowning. I'm still trying to timeline that one because I can see the ship. I can see the portholes. I can see what it looked like. There's so many aspects of it. I'm still trying to define the timeline. I know it was in the 1700s, but I can't define that specific kind of ship down to a finer timeline, like between the 20s to 50s, or 50s to 70s, or 70s to 1800. I can't get it defined. Um, oh, lovely. Severn. God. Oh my God, Sovereign. Laugh out loud. Very well, man. Yeah. Anyway, um, no, oh my God. Okay, Drew. I've seen him sleep a few months ago. He was weeping. His face was on a cloud passing over me. Yeah. Um, I am assuming you're talking about Jesus, Drew. Um, I had had Jesus bring me to a loved one who had died that I didn't know had died. And basically, it was a mind boggler. It was a mind boggler. He literally took me in my higher consciousness and had me say goodbye to my friend. It was really hard. And I still grieve for that friend. And people he worked with a long time ago don't know that he's deceased, and I don't talk about it. His family knows. He's in a different state, and he was a really very, very, very sweet person. So, and he knew that I probably wouldn't believe him if, but Jesus is the one that came and got me. We had a lovely conversation going up, and I did not do the crossover. I was just before the crossover. What spirits do in crossing over. And I was told to wait, and it was a kind of like the only way I can describe it is like a giant room that was more like a warehouse. And he said, please wait here, and I'll go get it. I'll go get somebody that wants to see you and wants to say goodbye. And he said, just wait. And I'm like, okay, I will be here. I'm not going anywhere. And he said, no, you're not. I was essentially, I was trapped there, but he didn't want to say it that way. And I was fine with that because I trusted him. Implicitly, in fact. I've worked with him before, and I trusted him implicitly. And he went and got the person, and I just stood there and kind of shuffled my feet a bit and walked around in circles. and here is my friend opening up the door, so to speak, that is solid bright, and I knew where he was coming from. I mean, the second I saw the bright white light when Jesus walked through the door, I knew that it was a form of the other side, and I don't know how else to describe it. And when my friend walked through that door that Jesus had exited out of, that there was no door there when I got there, and all of a sudden there's a door there, and so anyway, and a wall. And he walked through the door and closed it behind him, and it took him some time to walk to me. And there was an exchange, and essentially he told me he loved me and he was proud of me, and he wanted to say his goodbyes, essentially. And there would be no other way for me to know that he had died. And yeah, when I woke up crying. It was really hard. It was beautiful. It was a truly beautiful, beautiful experience. But it was really hard. It's really hard to find out that your friend had died trying to help other people, but you knew that was how your friend that was your friend. That is what they would do. They would come to the aid of somebody else, and it and they were content. They were happy. I mean, on one hand, they weren't happy that they were there, but yet on the other hand, they were like, I'm okay. I want you to know I'm okay. It doesn't hit me very often, but it's hit me right now. So I let it come out. This is a moment of grieving. Grieving doesn't happen very often with me. But when it does, I let it come out because that's what I've learned. Otherwise, I internalize, and that's not acceptable in my book anymore for me. You don't want to internalize your emotions, because if you internalize your emotions, you cause your body problems. And that then it becomes a psychological issue and blah, 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 blah. So I've learned very carefully, very creatively, that you've got to, when it happens, you allow it to happen. And if you need to apologize because some people can't handle that, so be it. You're apologizing not for you, but for them, because they can't handle it. Figure that one out. It's for their comfort level, not for you. That's a whole nother psychological issue down the road. But anyway, but you got to let it out. When it happens, let it out. I had a situation like that with my mom in a hospital, no less. And I actually got told that I would be escorted off the property, that security was on their way because I was crying. I had such a horrible reaction to something, and I've never had that experience before. That was a first. Anyway, so see, now it's over. The emotion is out. I'm okay with that, and I can move on. It's not always that easy. I get that, believe me, but this is how I process stuff. This is part of how things are. Sometimes it hits. A lot of times it doesn't. I just, like I said, I process differently. Okay. So back into chat. Shell. Told was a dude warrior, like in armor, ancient Roman or something around that time. True. Yes, touchy talk. So I'm going to use the word subject for whatever reason. I cannot put those two words together. Individually, yes, but together, no. Okay, so yes, touchy subject, passing. What I experienced with it. Yeah. Shell. I can only imagine what y'all feel like after seeing these things. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Drew. My experience was just as if I was looking at the Shroud of Turin with tears. Oh, Drew. Wow. That's quite the experience, honey. Shell. He just said, watched, participated with Fallen, being destroyed with light, and far away a star would blink into existence after each. Said, saw Jesus return and write his name on a column in a new temple, outside of which a battle either had or was to take place. Going from memory here. Okay. Sovereign. The final battle is supposed to be in Israel. Armageddon. Okay, Shell. Virtual hug. So sorry, Nikki. Thank you, Shell. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Drew. Iraq is where the Garden of Eden is. Drew. Yes, sovereign. It's where Jesus destroyed enemies against Israel. Sovereign. True. Shell. Yep. Gotta let it out, and you will know when right to detour your thought. So don't get overwhelmed, I believe. Shell. What the fuck? That sounds like a crock of shit the way they treated you. Yeah, huh? Yeah, you're talking about the hospital? Yeah, that wasn't fun. That was in 2015. Been a while. Black Dragon. I don't show emotions often. I was born with alexithymia and can't understand emotions. So at a young age, I learned to block them. I understand that. Shell. There is a breathing trick. A short, sharp half inhale through nose, then immediately a longer, deep inhale. Okay. That just kicked my dead. There we go. That just kicked my dead. Wow. Immediate, longer, deep inhale through nose, then long exhale. Mimic the breath sequence of breaths when you stop crying. Yeah. Show. It helps with releasing stress immediately. Part of bolt breathing. Yeah. I don't know what that's called. I mean, what it is, but I know how to do breathing techniques. I've done them since I've been in junior high. They're actually what have saved my life in a couple of situations. Breathing techniques. Andrew, yeah, some don't know how to handle it. Yeah, it's very true. Some folks don't know how to handle it. So anyhow, so we're almost at the 2 hour mark. Um, anyone with remaining questions? And I don't know how many remaining questions I will get to, but we'll find out. I haven't checked my phone. Usually, oh God. Do not know why I missed those messages. It just irks me that I did. Okay, I do want to respond to that, but that's later. 3 hour mark. Yeah, 3 hour 24 minutes is what I've got on the clock, Sovereign. So, and Dave, I think, stopped his at 120. I think 151. 122 is when he messaged me. So, because I know it was at, I think it was 105, 110, something like that, and I was off. My stuff on my oh, for pity's sake, stuff on my laptop was on delayed, but the one on my TV was accurate at the time. So I think they somewhere got done at somewhere between 110 and 120. So we're a little over the 2 hour mark, depending upon how you look at it. But I'm gonna go for a little bit longer. Try and make it an even number. Anyway, anybody else with other questions? I forgot to mention earlier super beats. Oh yeah, super beats are really good for the body. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, bummer. I hope not. Anyway, yeah, super beats are really, really good for the body. So is garlic. I eat a lot of raw garlic. I'll organic garlic, not from China. You'd be horrified by what they do with their garlic. Oh my god, bad, 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 bad. So anyway, yeah, make sure that if you're buying raw garlic, organic garlic, that it's got the roots on it, bits of the roots, um, and that the bulbs are not bleached. That's kind of a critical juncture. Anyway, oh, I'm gonna start coughing. Oh my god. Whoop. Ouch. Yeah, I tend to agree, Sovereign. If you're not if you're not growing your own garlic, then yeah, I do agree. California garlic is grown. Thank you. Shell, funny you bring up super beets. They increase ability to absorb oxygen. Has to do with nitrogen levels and CO2 levels. That's what the bulk breathing regulates. Yeah. Okay. So ETs teach that too. If you're I was going to say if you're a child of an ET, that's not what I meant. Oh my God. If you are an abductee since childhood, then you might remember that depending upon which race you are abducted from, kidnapped from, abducted is the better terminology. I mean, you're kidnapped, technically you're kidnapped, but you're also returned repeatedly. So yeah, abduction is the, I guess, most proper term. Anyway, you will remember a lot of your breathing techniques and a lot of the things that they have taught you. And my voice is getting lower. I do apologize. I don't know quite exactly why that is, but it is. I don't know if it's because I'm tired or it's the coughing fit that I just went through. Anyway, oh, speaking of which, one second. So I talked about, wrong. There we go. I talked about the other day when I was doing a live on my channel, Restore Belief with Nikki. I talked about doing a that I have a Amazon gift registry account, and someone someone got me something from it. So this is one of the things. Now I go through headphones like they're going out of style. I mean, like hardcore. So this is I love these headphones. These are my favorite headphones. They're soft on my ears. The sound is really good on them. Anyway, so this was a gift. So thank you to the individual who bought me this. It means a great deal to me. Thank you. Especially since the headphones that I have been using have been, wow. I mean, I usually go through headphones once a year. No joke. It gets to be a real hassle. I'm very hard on headphones. Yeah, the throat's kicking in. So, anyway, thank you for, I mean, thank you. Seriously. Thank you for my headphones. These are my favorites. The ones that, and they're on the less expensive side in comparison to $300 or $400 headphones that a lot of people use. Can't afford those. Wouldn't expect to put that on a registry. I put things that are affordable because I've had people wanting to thank me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not accepting money, but I've heard of other people doing that. So that's what I do. I use a gift registry. And anyway, they asked for the name and the link and blah, blah, blah. And so they went through it. And I got a notification, but I refused to look to see what it was because I wanted it to be a surprise. And it was. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the headphones. Most appreciated. And anyway, super split. Noticed a lot of grounding, earthing stuff is harder to find on the net than it used to be. Yeah, it really. Yeah, I agree with Shell. It's very hard to find. There's a lot of you got to watch. Oh no. Well, that's not good. I've got an infection. I think I've got an infection in my lungs. The only time that burns is when I have an infection. Well, it looks like I'm hitting the. Isn't that freaking lovely? All right, I'm not going to hit my negativity. I could. I'm not a happy camper about that, but oh my god, pick it up. Switch it. Flip the switch, Nikki. Son of a biatch. All right. Yes, grounding is very difficult to do, or hard to find information. But there are things on Facebook that do have that people are selling like large quantities of what the hell is it called, gemstones and different things where you can do for grounding. Um, oh, how interesting. Shell. I use the shocks, aftershocks, bone conduction. Automatically love them. Light, water resistant, and love that I can hear what's going on around me because I don't cover my ear holes. Yeah, I don't want to talk about my ears, but yeah, I get it. Shell, special souls you guys are. Glad for you and feel for you. Must be kind of a double edged. Yeah. Sovereign. If you are tired, Nikki, we can wrap it. No worries. But if you want to go longer, no worries either way. I appreciate that, Sovereign, very much. um, Shell, Drew, thank you, and certainly is your right to keep private. Hope okay now. Sovereign, I can't believe I'm a supposed adult when in reality I love behaving like a farting child 24. Oh my god. Sovereign! I know I didn't have to read that out loud. However, um, Black Dragon, my energy goes out to you, Nikki. I appreciate that. Seriously, I appreciate that. Shell, I like the idea of putting metal duct tape on mattresses, chairs, etc. Running wire to it. Simple dimple. Yeah, that is. Derek, everyone have a great day. I'm going back to sleep. Thank you, Derek, for coming. I appreciate you coming in. Most definitely. Black Dragon, Night Derek, Shell, basically six. Yeah. So, sorry. Yep. 3:35. I am wrapping it up. I've got to take care of whatever is going on right here in this lung, and that is hitting this right here. So, um, good night, Derek. It's 6:50 here. Work at 9. Blessed to work remotely so I can get up at 8:58. Laugh my ass. Right. Take good care, guys. Um, Sovereign, I swear I've got one of your statements in my head going bleep hard. And I'm like, no. Anyway, um, take very good care, guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. Um, Sovereign, if you have Manuka honey, take a massive spoonful. Nikki. Yeah, I need to get some. It's like $58 a container that's about that big square by about that much. So, oh my God, I'm not repeating that show. Anyway, Black Dragon, sweet dreams, Nikki. Yeah, dream sweet, Nikki. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Black Dragon. Um, anyway, take very good care of yourself, guys and gals, ladies and gents. Um, be good to yourself. Remember to allow yourself to go through whatever emotions you're going through, um, preferably in a safe environment. Uh, try to stay cool if you can, because hello, we're in summertime. Middle of towards the end of summer, but not really. I don't know, middle of August. Um, dream well. Be safe. Flip your script from negative to positive. And on that note, toodles. Bye, guys.